Hey guys, it's Nicole. Welcome back to Chronicles of a Crafter. So today I am working on some of these Christmas cards that I picked up at the Goodwill. They were just not really my style. They're sort of like, you know, old school Christmas cards and very generic because these came from a distributor that makes cards for someone who has like a nonprofit organization, and you donate to that organization, and then they send you something in the mail, like, you know, a sheet of your return label addresses or a stack of maybe 5 to 10 Christmas cards. This has a lot of glitz and glamour and gold in it. So yeah, there's a lot of gold highlighting, and it's sort of a church. It says "'Twas the night before Christmas," but I mean, I'm not really this kind of Christmas card giver, let's just say. So I want to spruce this card up a little bit and make it more my own, and it's so easy to do. I'm just using cardstock, but yeah, and this is just plain single-sided cardstock. And I'm going to do something a little different, right? I'm going to make the card my own by changing up the front and probably some parts of the insides. And I'll keep the envelope the same. It's a pretty decent designed envelope. And yeah, I'm just going to change up this card a little bit to make it more me. All right, and this is a very simple process. It's just glue and paper and, you know, a little bit of your own creativity, and then you go from there. All right, let me change out my battery because I don't want this video to end on me abruptly, and I'll be right back. So the first thing you're going to want to know is the measurements of your card. I'm going with, this is a 6 3/4 by 4 and let's say 7/8. I guess that's 7/8. Maybe it's 5/8, but we'll play around with it and see where we go with that. But I'm definitely going with 6 3/4 to just under 5. I'm thinking that's 4 7/8. I am going to just measure and cut my paper to suit. There's a couple of ways you can do this. You can go directly to the paper with the ruler and do it that way, or you can just take the card, right? And because I want to cover both the front and the back, I'll just open the whole thing up and grab a pencil and measure it. Or you can then and then cut it out, or you can just take your glue stick, cover the whole thing in glue, stick it down anywhere on your paper if it's non-directional, which is what I'm using here, and yeah, and then go from there. It's so simple. So simple to do. If you have something that you're not a fan of in the paper world, glue and a pair of scissors will go a very, very long way. So that's pretty much what I'm going to do. I'm just going to grab my Scotch Create glue stick, which is a permanent glue, and I'm just going to get some glue all over the front of this card. Now I'm doing this card because there are multiples of them in the pack that I picked up, and I can stand to lose one for this demonstration for these purposes. Again, this is not generally my style of card to give, so yeah, I'm making do with what I have, because the card itself is a pretty good quality card stock, and yeah, I don't want it to go to waste. So there's that. I'm going to take my non-directional paper, just flip it over, and place the card down directly on here. And I always start in the lower left corner, especially if I want it to line up and not waste too much cardstock. So yeah, I just start in the lower left corner and work my way around and make sure that all my edges are adhered really well. Okay, whatever glue is left over or oozed out, just take a dry wipes, go around it. One of my favorite things to do is to brayer this to the paper, because the brayer sort of creates a heat, you know, friction, and it'll get that glue nice and warm, and it'll adhere really well to your cardstock. So that's what I'm gonna do here. Just brayer it to death. And yeah, the sprayer will really work out really well. It'll get the card stuck to that cardstock perfectly. Okay, so now all I need to do is just grab my Tim Holtz shears. You can take this to your guillotine and cut it as well, but I'm just gonna cut it with my shears straight down the card, using the card as my little border for the scissor. And I'm just gonna cut it again on this side. So simple so far, right guys? I mean, anyone can do this. All right, there we have that. I'm gonna let my glue dry for a few minutes, because then I need to grab my scoreboard and score it appropriately. So because my brayer has like a little bit of glue on it, I should probably clean it. I did get a little bit of schmear on here. There's a word for you. I got some schmear on there. Now I want to probably spruce up this side of the card a little bit. Am I saying that correctly? Is it spruce or spruce? Anyway, I want to jazz up this side of the card a little bit. So I'm going to take two of these borders out of here. I'm just going to cut it directly on this line right here. And I want to use some of these Christmas trees. So this is just a border sheet directly from a paper pack. There's a couple in every paper pack or so. And yeah, I'm going to use these Christmas trees on here. So I want to make sure that I'm getting a full Christmas tree on both sides. So right about there. And I'll just cut this one off. That's the good thing about using these larger shears. They're almost, it's almost like having, you know, a 9-inch blade for like a guillotine or one of those slide cutters. So you can get really close with, you know, using smaller scissor strokes, or you can go really wide and, you know, get a full sheet cut. So here are these Christmas trees that I want to use, and I want to make sure that Christmas tree is almost full on both ends. So this side has to get some of it cut away, and so will this side will lose a couple of branches over there. So I'm just going to glue this down. Let me move my brayer. Anyway, guys, it's a Funday Friday. We're just doing something fun, something, you know, just a little bit of nothing. So, yeah, we're just playing with paper and glue. And these trees have, like, I think they have, like, a little bit of gold on it, like gold paper. So that's why I'm not using Fabrifix, because I think I mentioned before, Fabrifix will eat away at anything gold in on your paper crafts. So just have to be careful if you do decide to use Fabrifix. Just be careful, because Fabrifix does have a tendency to eat into gold leaf, gold papering, gold anything. Anything almost gold. So, and I'm just going to add this tree row down here at the bottom, and whatever's overhanging I'll cut away. So we're just layering paper on top of paper until we get the design that we want, and it's now going to be something that you've made, and maybe you like what it says on the inside, so you don't have to change any of that. But the outside just wasn't for you, and this is just a simple way of repurposing something that you probably would not buy, or would have thrown away, or that person gave away. So to the Goodwill, and it became something that I could use. So I think I'm going to use, let's see, I can probably just stamp this and be done, right? I could do this all day. I can mass make these. It's just so simple. All right, I'm gonna try to fold it right on the previous crease instead of using a scoring board, and hopefully everything will line up. That's why you gotta let your glue dry completely, because you don't want it shifting underneath there on you. So, yep, I think that worked out. I'm just gonna use my my score tool and get a nice tight crease right along the edge here. Okay, so there's that, and now we can just stamp it. Like, I'll just stamp on there, 'tis the season, happy holidays. You can stamp whatever you like. Merry and bright. Merry and bright. Yeah, those trees are merry and bright. I'll just stamp it with my VersaFine ink. And I found that VersaFine, this standard VersaFine as opposed to the Claire, it works brilliantly on words. So let's see, I can put it on the side or just centered. Just centered is fine with me. I did feel that shift a little, so we'll see what we get. But again, this is just, yep, it did shift. It's all good. I mean, you really can't tell, right? But it did shift the bright just ever so slightly, so you know, it's just something that I need to work on when it comes to me putting down stamps and whatnot. I just need to be a little bit more precise, and that's just, there's nothing wrong with the stamp. It's just me. So we're not perfect. We're, you know, none of us are. So it's just one of those things that I need to work on as a crafter. I'm not a card maker, otherwise I'd have a better system. But when the holidays are quickly approaching and the deadline for mailing cards and presents and whatnot is quickly approaching, you get to being very creative very quickly, and that's really what I'm doing right now, because I believe the USPS deadline is approaching, so you got to get those things out and in the mail. So far we have this, and on the inside there is some there's a song, I believe, "Oh Come Ye Faithful." Yeah, I believe that's a song, just the lyrics to a song. And then down here it says, "May your Christmas be filled with the gifts of joy and peace." And that's what I'm wishing each and every one of you. So yeah, it's just a little something to do for the holidays. If you give gifts to your friends and family, you can toss in one of these little cards that you picked up at the Goodwill or what have you. I am going to probably make about 6 or 7 more of these, and you know, distribute throughout the holidays. And those cards that I picked up from the Goodwill, they can become any kind of card, right? If you don't use the envelope that clearly indicates that it's a Christmas card, you can definitely just stick this into a 5x7 standard envelope. Or here, I'm trying to pull one from the shelf. Here is a 5x7 envelope that's made of craft paper, and you can turn all of those cards into birthday cards, Valentine's Day cards, anything really, and they all fit into a standard envelope. So this is what I'm going with for this one, and I may, depending on how I feel about it, may switch out this envelope for another one from the package. But yeah, I think you can then just label this and send it on its way. Alright guys, I'm going to leave you here because I have a lot more cards to make. I hope you guys are having a super crafty day. It's a Funday Friday. Go do something fun. And yeah, just stay naturally curious. There's so many things out there that we can just repurpose. And if you're constantly curious about what can I do with this, or how can I change this, or you know, how can I make this my own, these are just some of the examples of that by staying naturally curious. I want you guys to have a super, super fantastic weekend. Go do something crafty today in your crafting spaces, and I'll definitely talk to y'all in the next video. Check out my links down below. Don't forget to hit the bell for notifications after you subscribe to the channel, and I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.